and liftoff. Okay, everyone, welcome on to the Black Column Podcast. We are back once again. I am Jabaya, aka the Crew Philosopher.
And I'm Shannon, aka your favorite blurred.
Yes, and we are here another Thursday, last Thursday of the month.
No.
Yeah, right?
No. Oh, it is. Don't even look at me. Sorry.
It's the 28th.
Yes.
The last show for the month, and then we will be heading to Black History Month. I don't know. We might have to do something fun with Black History. Maybe like a Black History quiz.
Oh, okay. Great.
Shannon, don't sound too confident.
No, of course I am. Get out of here.
Something like that. So Shannon, how was your week?
My week was pretty good until. Well, no, my week was good overall. Actually, my week was great. How was yours?
My week was very, very eventful.
I did some not COVID approved activities. I'm not even gonna tell you what I did.
What did you do, Shannon?
Them.
No. What I want to know. Let me hear this. let me how you put out lives at risk. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Well, on Tuesday,
I went on a date.
What?
You went on a date?
I go on many dates because I'm dating somebody. So yes, but that's besides the point. But yes, I was with that person, and we went to the American Dream Mall. I went to the Nickelodeon amusement park that's in there. So that's what I did. Why are you looking like that?
I want to record the show. Me and Shannon have been doing this podcast where we have acknowledged that we have 2 new strains of coronavirus.
Yes, we do.
One more contagious, and even Fauci thinks is more deadly. Another one, not deadlier, but might be resistant to the vaccine. And Shannon's out here at, what is it? You said Nickelodeon Park? What do you say? Shannon's out here putting our lives at risk for rocket power. I
don't think they had a rocket power right there, but yes, I did go. But I was a little nervous at first, but it was fine because there was like nobody there. So like,
did you know why?
It's open to 25% capacity, so it wasn't that bad.
That's because they thinking any idiot who comes out to a theme park in the middle of a pandemic, you know what I mean, they get what they get. Now, but did you have fun?
I did have fun. I did.
All right, that's nice. That's all that matters. But for me, I was telling Shannon before we started that I did a podcast. I recorded it yesterday with Deanna. She's a woman who I met from YouTube, and we talked about her time being homeless, and it was an incredible podcast for me. Like, she has a very pure soul, pure soul. She's telling me the story that I'm hearing these details, and she seemed like she wasn't bothered by it that much. Now, she had points during our discussion where she broke down and she, started to cry and things of that nature, but it still felt pure. It didn't feel like resentful. It didn't feel, like she was angry at the world. And I just found it to be it's inspiring, because sometimes you forget that bad things happen. It can potentially happen to all of us. So I think her attitude is probably the better attitude to have versus mine, where I just get angry at the world, and so I get bitter.
Yeah, I'm learning to also be more positive about things too. I try to be.
Yeah, me too. It just don't work out.
I think it works out for me. I feel like I stress out about something for like a little while. By a little while, I mean like a few minutes, maybe a couple of hours, and then I kind of just like.
Then it goes away.
Yeah, I push it to the back of my mind.
Yeah, so that was good, and I stayed up all night recording that. I mean, editing that and putting it out today. So definitely check that out. Now, before we begin, I want to get this out the way because I don't want to hear nobody's opinion on it. I don't want.
That? Sorry, there's like somebody drilling something. You don't hear it?
You know what, Shannon? I heard that one.
Oh my God, what is happening right now?
I mean, it's fine.
Okay,
you can do.
Okay, cool.
Nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So I want this to be the end of it. Yes, I have a pimple on my nose. Okay.
I don't even see. If you didn't say anything about that, I would not have seen it.
You might have not seen it, but trust me, them broads in the comment section, they can see it. I don't want to hear anything about it.
Oh my
I
lord,
don't.
Tobiah.
It happens to the best of us. We can't all be
Okay,
perfect all the time, right? Not all the time.
I might have to get my headphones if this continues. Are you gonna edit this part out if I stop to get my headphones? Because you don't be editing stuff out. You don't. You don't. So
These be the funny parts.
I'm just wondering. Okay, I think it stopped. Okay.
The funny parts, we Shannon run to the phone. uh, so other than that, like I said, same old, same old. I'm excited because I'm picking up with these recordings. Like after this, our podcast, I'm gonna be recording with Pastor Jonathan discussing the Bible and masculinity, and then on Friday,
okay.
I'm talking to a girl named Kaya about street harassment.
Okay.
So yeah, things are going pretty good for me.
That's great.
So yeah. We have burned 6 minutes, avoiding the unavoidable. So let's just go ahead and speak about it. I've been watching news coverage for the past, 24 to 48 hours regarding everything taking place between GameStop, AMC, hedge funds, Robinhood. And I want to just make a statement. This goes for people on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and various other news organizations. We know that you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're not fooling anybody by trying to, slide past segments and use fancy words. I can tell somebody when they're on TV talking about the stock market, somebody who knows about stocks and who knows what's going on right now. And I can tell the rest of you guys got a briefing and you're trying to just slide your way through it. So I want them to know that we know. And see, me and Shannon ain't gonna lie to y'all.
No, we're not. I barely know. Barely know.
I know nothing. And I mean nothing about stocks.
Yep. And like I said to you before we started recording, the things that I know, the very little bit that I know, I learned yesterday. So
So we have a general consensus about what's going on, a very general one. And we are a news podcast, so it would be foolish for us not to discuss what's taking place, which has sucked all of the conversation off my Twitter timeline, my Facebook groups. To not talk about this would be us not doing our job. But unlike these other places, we're not about to sit here and lie to y'all and pretend like we some stock experts, because some people know more about stocks and some people don't know anything. I fall in anything. Shannon has stocks.
Yes.
So she knows more than I do. But other than that,
I know enough to know that what's going on here is complete corruption by Robinhood and by Wall Street, corporate America. So
it is. So we're gonna go into the story and break it down. Shannon is going to lead this conversation for two reasons. A, I think she has more knowledge than I do. But B, even if she doesn't, I'd rather, the sword of misinformation fall on her than on me.
Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna tell you what I know. Okay. So at the beginning of let's go back to the beginning of the pandemic. GameStop shares were literally $3 a share.
Which, by the way, before she proceeds, made me very happy because GameStop has been treating us all like shit for a long time. I mean, you play a game for a week and they won't take the price. They won't take it back unless you're willing to accept half price.
Honestly, I dislike GameStop a lot, and I feel like they're not even deserving of this large boost that they're getting. But whatever. I'm gonna whatever, it's happening, so I don't really have anything against it because whatever. Anyway, so beginning of the pandemic, GameStop shares are $3 a share, and even up until last week, they were like $6 a share. So what happens in the stock world is that these hedge funds, they buy things called short stocks, which is basically like a quick turnaround on your purchase. Like they borrow stocks and then they sell them immediately for the same price that they bought them at. And then the price, I'm sorry. Let me refer to my article so that I know I'm not misspeaking out of term here. Give me a second.
We're going to put the Jeopardy music into the background.
No, I got it. Don't even do that. Don't even do it. Okay, so you borrow stock at a certain price and then you sell it immediately at that same price. So you still owe back the share that you borrowed from the broker. But so you buy it at the same price, and then you sell it at the same price, and then you wait for the price of that share to drop, and then you buy it back. So you're basically making a profit because you're paying less for it than what you sold it for, and then you sell it back then you give it back to the broker, basically at a cheaper rate, and that's called a short. So basically, these hedge funds and these investors, they target companies for shorts. They target companies that they know are going to tank soon, and then they basically like buy shorts of that stock so that they can profit off of it when the shares drop. So what happened with GameStop is that basically these hedge funds thought that GameStop shares were going to tank, so they took out a bunch of short stocks against GameStop. So I don't know like if this is all public information, but somebody on Reddit like figured out that this hedge fund was doing this, and then
it's all public information.
Yeah, and then literally like rallied a bunch of Reddit users on a subreddit, Wall Street Bets, and told everyone to unite to buy GameStop to buy GameStop shares so that the shares would rise up through the roof. Therefore, then now the broker, the hedge fund investors now have to buy back
the stock,
back the stock at a way higher rate. So now they're losing money. Yep.
All right, now for most of what Shannon was talking about, if you could picture, the monkey with the symbols.
Yes.
That was in my head.
I feel like that was simple enough to understand.
No, your explanation was fine. I'm not good at this, man. Look, there's a reason why I stay away from anything related to math. I was a fairly decent math student up until the alphabet got involved, which means right around high school, my math skills went down. So, all of this stuff. But Shannon's point about the fact that, yes, that these hedge funds people, the reason why the Reddit, the Reddit users buying stock was such, in the mind of the hedge funds people, was so problematic is because now the hedge funds people, they had to buy back the stock that they sold at a higher margin. Mm-hmm. And I think they lost like billions of dollars.
Yeah, they did. They did lose billions of dollars. They had to declare bankruptcy, basically. But because of that, now Robinhood and like a couple of other trading apps, investing apps, have halted buying of GameStop.
You can only sell.
Yeah, GameStop, BlackBerry, AMC, and all the other ones that have been like rising because of this. Yeah, you can only sell. But meanwhile, big investors in these hedge fund corporations are still able to trade normally. Yeah. So this is blatant market manipulation.
I thought we had another clip, but here's what I would say. I was rooting for the BlackBerry one because the BlackBerry one started before the GameStop one, because I remember the BlackBerry story going around and no one could figure out why BlackBerry was trending. Mm-hmm. For personal reasons, I would love for BlackBerry to make a comeback. I don't know. I just feel like, don't you miss Blackberries?
Yeah, but I don't think that they're coming back with phones. I think they're doing something else.
Which is unfortunate. But anyway, yeah, so you have all this corruption taking place because, like Shannon said, what is happening is ordinary Americans are getting frozen out from being able to buy GameStop stock or AMC stock. And the billionaire hedge funds people, they are out there doing what they need to do to avoid bankruptcy. They're trying to rewrite the rules of the market. There was a story out. I don't know if Shannon saw it, but
so many stories about this today.
Maybe it wasn't a story. It was because I followed 911 Breaking on Twitter, and they had tweeted something that I do think is relevant here within the last hour. And so they tweeted, bombshell allegation, man claims to be Robinhood employee and says the White House pressured.
Oh, I saw that on Reddit.
Yeah, pressured halt of GameStop trading. And they also tweeted something from Robinhood CEO, Vlad Tenev. He said Robinhood's move to stop trading in certain speculative names was in the best interest of the company and its millions of users. In order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to limit buying in these stocks.
No, in order to protect the billionaire Wall Street moguls, that's really who they're protecting, which is crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you, because to me, if like, stocks is a risky business. Like,
Mm-hmm.
getting involved into stocks is it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
So to say that you are protecting your customers, I mean, your customers kind of know what they're getting in on if they're interested in getting involved in the stock game.
And your customers, Robinhood specifically, your
Mhm.
customers are literally, they're not high risk investors. They're normal individual investors, you mainly using Robinhood. That's what it's for. That's what they sold their platform on, letting regular people being able to buy and sell stocks. That's what they were built on. And now the fact that they are protecting bigger industries when they're supposed to be for the average person is crazy to me.
It's crazy because you bought into their
Well, I didn't
um
buy whatever.
no, no,
Not,
I'm,
not
I'm,
that
I'm
I,
just saying
yeah.
it's crazy if you believe what they told you, which is that they are
Mhm.
for the common man, common woman. But look, when there's billions of dollars on the line,
Mhm.
people show you who they really are.
Yep.
So am I shocked that the interests of billionaires, are being put above ordinary Americans? No, I'm
No,
not.
of course not,
That
because rich people have all the power in this country. If you're not rich, you're not in, like, it's just not, that's just not how it's gonna go.
Yeah, and so what I expect to happen within the next couple of days slash weeks, there's probably going to be some type of congressional, you
Yes,
know,
there is. I saw an article that there is going to be a congressional hearing about this.
yeah. Now, will anything get done really? No, probably not. There'll be a congressional hearing. There will be maybe some recommendations, or maybe they will change some rules, but the rule changes won't be to to any rule change that happens is going to be at the expense of us,
Mm-hmm.
the normal man and woman. It is not going to be in our favor. So that's just something to look out for to look
I
out for in the future.
mhm. I did get an email from Robinhood at 5 o'clock today,
Mhm.
and they did say that they were going to allow limited buys of the securities that they restricted. So we'll see how that
Nah,
goes.
yeah. Once again, you block people out for an entire day.
Yeah, I know,
And so
and because mhm,
most people miss the window of opportunity
they
to
did.
get in on the surge of prices in GameStop, AMC, whatever, etc., etc. And
GameStop,
so
really, it was mainly GameStop that had that big surge. Like BlackBerry and AMC, they didn't get anywhere near there. I think so AMC stock on Tuesday was $8 or $6 a share. Then the next day, yesterday, it was at 16. I think that's the highest it got. BlackBerry, I think the highest BlackBerry got was 28 or $29 a share. GameStop got up to like 500, like 440 or $500 a share, but now it's back. It fell back down, so now it's averaging like $200 a share or something like that. But yeah, your big window of opportunity. The best day, if you had GameStop share already, the best day to have sold it was yesterday.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's gonna get back up.
to
Probably
to
not.
the price where it was at.
Yeah.
No, and I think my design, the way the Reddit campaign was working, I think what they were trying to do is kind of look for all of these instances where uh people were buying stock to shortcut
Mm-hmm.
certain companies. And if you hunt for those, you can kind of have these quick surges in stock prices, have people buy, sell high, move on to the next thing. Boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yep. Yep.
So, but
I
yeah,
would have definitely sold my stocks yesterday, because if I bought, first of all, I didn't know anything. I wasn't even thinking about investing when the pandemic started. Maybe I should have been. But if I saw like GameStop shares were $3 a share, I would have bought a whole bunch of GameStop shares. I would have bought like $100 worth of GameStop shares, or like $200. And then imagine if you bought $200 worth of GameStop shares at $3 a share, and then each of your 200 shares is worth $500. You pretty much sitting on a tiny, tiny man's fortune. You could use that to pay off a good heft of something. That would have been so. If, like, for all those people who profited yesterday, congratulations to you. I'm jealous.
well, there were a bunch of articles in even people speaking about on Twitter, and of course on Fox and various other news organizations that that people were paying off mortgages with the money that
Yeah.
they made.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people saying that they can finally buy their own house.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of incredible watching people speak about what they were going to do with the money, and you kind
Yeah.
of saw what average people would do if they got their hands on some change.
Mm-hmm.
Versus these guys, these billionaires who, like part of the problem we have in this country is things don't trickle down because
Yeah.
rich people are obsessed with maintaining their riches and expanding their wealth. And so
Mm-hmm.
what do they do with their money? They save it, they hold it, they reinvest it into other industries. They
Mm-hmm.
don't do what the average American would do, which is pay off debt, purchase property, a house,
Mm-hmm.
spend the money, which helps your economy. You,
Yep.
if the money is getting hoarded, that doesn't help the economy. What you want is for the money to circulate, which means putting more money in the hands of the middle class, average Americans. That's what you want for a healthy economy. Not
Yep.
what we have now, where everyone is starving except for this small group at the top that is raking in this insane amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually very proud of the Reddit community for being able to do this. It was very great. It was amazing to see, actually.
I tried to get into Reddit, but I just didn't understand the appeal of it. Like
I
the way
don't
you feel
really.
about Twitter is how I feel about Reddit.
I'm not heavy into Reddit. I'm not heavy into Reddit, but I started following the stock subreddits yesterday, and I just started like going. I mean, I'm slowly starting to understand the appeal of it, but it's just kind of cool that that community of people were able to band together and do that. With that being said, they are filing a class action lawsuit against Robinhood. So
Yes, I'm excited to see what happens. I don't think they're going to win. I don't. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that no, certainly not what the the individual retail stock buyers. So like everyone that bought the GameStop stock, or like what happened with GameStop is not illegal. I don't know if what
No, but
Robinhood did was technically illegal.
Yeah,
it was wrong, but I don't know if it technically is illegal.
I'll be stunned if it is, because you have to prove. Here's the thing people understand, and this is how the trading happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to prove that somebody is guilty of insider trading, right? Like people don't understand that it is very hard to prove certain crimes.
Mm-hmm.
For example, people confuse corruption with illegal all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of corruptible things you can do that is 100% legal.
Yep.
Like you see all the time with politicians, they'll give like breaks to certain industries, and then once they're out of office, they'll give speeches where they end up getting paid, $300,000 or per speech, or they get a seat on the board. And you're like, the hell you know about this stuff? They don't know, but they, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. All of that is legal corruption. You can't be charged for a crime, but most people would say this it feels wrong. It feels like it should be wrong, but it's legal. So I don't think Robinhood did anything illegal. I'll be stunned if that company did some or if it did, and this is where things get really devious. I don't think they did anything illegal, but if they did do something illegal, that must mean the amount of money that they are going to be paid by the billionaires is enough to just, brush away any type of class action lawsuit. So like, you get hit with the whatever amount $1 million fine, but you have much more money coming your way, which is another big problem when it comes to cleaning up this corruption. It's hard to clean up when you have this much money being tossed around. Because you can kind of excuse anything.
Yep.
With a class, and this is why jail has to be the penalty for this stuff. It can't be lawsuits. It has to be jail time. Rich boys hate prison. They hate prison. And you know why they hate prison? Because rich butts look very, very appealing. All right. I'm just saying, rich boy butt is a hot commodity in jail. That's why they don't like going to prison. And so you have to make this stuff illegal. Enough with this class action lawsuit, and they pay a couple $1 million, but nothing about their behavior change. No. Put their asses in prison.
Also, stop using their app. Take your business elsewhere. Also, if a large enough amount of people do that as well.
Wait, what?
You stop using their app.
Oh yeah, stop using
investing elsewhere. Yeah, take your investing elsewhere. There are tons of investing apps.
Now you have to take Shannon's word for that. Like I said, I'm not involved with this in any way, shape.
Well, not tons, but there are a good amount that are tailored to the average.
But I think Robinhood was so appealing because of how user friendly it was. To use.
But there are a couple more. There are a couple of other apps that are also
just as user friendly. Okay.
Level. Yes.
Like I said, take Shannon's word. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I was also. Now I lost my train of thought. What was I about to say? Also, I was gonna say use this as an opportunity for people. Like, if you weren't.
You know what I mean?
If you if you weren't really into investing before and you literally just got into it to ride this wave of this like quick surge, use this opportunity to learn more about investing, learn more about stocks. It is a good way, if you do it correctly and smartly, to grow your money. So if you got into this,
Yeah, but isn't it like mainly luck though?
It's mainly luck, and it's mainly, a lot of it is most of the time the least risky way to do it is long haul stocks. So like, stocks that build over time. So it's not going to be like, it's rare that you're in an instance where you're going to get money like quick like that. Like what happened with GameStop, that doesn't happen often, but it is a good way for you. Like you can take what you're learning now from this and just like learn how to invest like smartly, like with regular like in a regular way, for the future.
Like when would you sell anything? When would you sell?
I don't know. You just have to keep up with, stock news on a daily and figure out like when's a good time to sell, when's a good time to hold. And I guess you just use your own judgment, really. You just use your own judgment, to be quite honest.
Shannon said all them words, and all she did was kind of smartened up the lyrics to that song.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I know
when to hold
well, first of all, I already said that I don't know. I already said that I don't know a lot about this, so I don't know when you know to sell. You take what take what's being said, like do your research and then use your own judgment. I guess I don't know. Like I said, I know very little about stocks, very little. So
what we have to do, Shannon, on this podcast? We have to come to terms with our. And I meant to say this to you last week, but I forgot. Go ahead, Shannon.
If I was heavy into investing, I would just sell my stocks when I thought like the shares were a good amount of money for myself. I would just sell them. I said, use your.
You say that now until you would have sold your Google stock for $500, and it would have ended up being 50 million.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
All right. See that now.
That's why I said you have to do your research. I don't know.
No, here's my thing. Here's the gripe, the discussion we have to have. And I was thinking about this for a while. Me and you have to rehash out our political identities on this podcast. So I feel like since this show started, some things have changed.
Okay.
Right? I have no idea what I would call myself anymore. I asked this question on Twitter, like what would I call me? I have no idea where I fall on the political spectrum.
Okay.
I know I like guns.
Okay. There has to be some kind of quiz about this online.
But even the quiz don't help because they ask you questions that are like too broad. Like, do you believe in, free markets? I mean, kind of. I mean, not totally free, but mostly free. I don't know. I feel like the political labels aren't useful anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to escape America, not leave the country. I mean, like when you said about the stocks, that sounds like a miserable life. Like just having to invest some money into some things, make sure I'm watching them at least a couple of times a week, to check in. And then when the time is right, I get to sell. And I'm trying to get away from this capitalist society. This not me saying I want to destroy capitalism. I'm just saying, for me personally, and my dream is for this stuff to take off, where I can move to a low cost living place and be alone, away from the rest of y'all. I don't know. I feel like we just keep getting pulled into this machine.
Yeah, we do.
And so with that, I don't know where I'll fall, because I don't sound like a Republican right now, but I don't sound like a liberal. Like I think you guys are miserable too.
You're in the middle of the spectrum somewhere.
I need to be freed.
Did you hear about that? Sorry.
What?
I don't know if you heard about that. Did you hear about the woman that went to Bali? She went to Bali with her partner, I think at the beginning of the pandemic, and has been like selling ebooks about how you can
they kicked out the country.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a very, very interesting point you bring up, because all she had to do was keep her mouth shut.
Yeah, I know.
I am stunned between that story and this ties into the people that stormed the Capitol. There was an article I was reading where it said, like, the feds, they didn't really have to do much, because people were taking pictures and selfies of themselves that they were just really easy to identify. And so social media is really out here, getting people caught
but
up.
she was like wholly trying to profit off of it too. She was like selling an ebook or something about how to achieve the lifestyle that she achieved by illegally sneaking into Bali.
I get it, but she got caught because
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's different than posting a selfie. She was like literally trying to profit on people coming into the country illegally, or like telling people to come to the country illegally.
She doesn't view herself like this, but technically speaking, I mean, isn't she the definition of a colonizer?
Yes.
Like, she is the definition of a colonizer.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate. But yeah, they got her out of there as soon as I think our neighbors started snitching. Like, who this girl? Oh, she just out here. No. And then she tried to make it seem like they kicked her out because of her identity. But no, sorry, boo boo. You got caught with your hand in a cookie jar, and they sent your ass back to the U.S., which is unfortunate because if you were really living how you were living, you had it made. You had it made. But no, couldn't help herself. Couldn't do it. So let's see where I want to go next.
Oh, but yeah, I just one more thing before we move off stocks completely. Wall Street's trying to, keep the average person from getting rich. They're making it impossible. That's all I have to say about that. That's my closing statement.
Yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate. I have no idea what we're going to do about it because everyone is bought off, including our government, including our politicians.
Yeah.
And it's like they have such a stranglehold on, the neck of democracy that even trying to push somebody who is a pure person through, it feels impossible sometimes. So yeah. Media. You guys now would never miss a chance to shit all over the mainstream media. And there was an Axios story that came out, last week, I think, and it made the rounds on social media, and that was media trust hits new low. Now, I've been saying for a while, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, these are not news media. What you are watching when you watch these programs, you are watching propaganda machines. In the case of Fox News, now, it's not to say that they're all equal or the same. Fox News, to me, is objectively the worst of the three. Just putting out, and now you have what's those news, the new conservative ones. You have OANN and Newsmax, which is to the right of Fox News, which is insane to think about it. But yeah, Fox News, which they pretty much they will frame it as they discuss and analyze news from a conservative perspective. But to me, if it's news, there has to be some level of objectivity and just stating of the fact. Now, you can discuss your reaction to the fact, but you still have to give your viewers, hey, this X happened, and now let's discuss how we feel about it. But to just constantly go into how we feel about it and not acknowledge what happened, that makes you a propaganda machine, which is what Fox is for the conservatives. MSNBC is that for the Democratic establishment. They are the mainstream left Fox News. That's what they are. They bring on people and they frame things in a very interesting way. They were primarily responsible for all of the hit jobs when Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard, when they were running for to win the presidential nomination during the last run for president. And so you have MSNBC. Just the fact that Al Sharpton is a host in that show is all you need to know. Al Sharpton. Seriously, Al Sharpton. All you need to know. Right? Then you have CNN, which tries to pretend like they are between Fox and MSNBC, but they're just a bad show. I mean, Don Lemon is the draw, followed by Chris Cuomo. Or is it Chris Cuomo followed by Don Lemon? Whichever one comes on first. I think it's Chris Cuomo first, then Don Lemon. You have those two, which, I mean, they're pretty much personalities now. You don't really like people. People watch their show because they want to see them dunk on conservatives or Republicans or Donald Trump when he was president, but not to tell the actual truth about stories. Not to mention that if you're CNN, you have one of the biggest conflict of interest associated with your news program that you never did anything about, which was during the height of a pandemic, you had a brother interviewing a brother who is the governor of the place that was hardest hit by the coronavirus. Anybody who's in charge of a news organization will tell you that's a no-go. You have a conflict of interest. How do we know you're going to ask him the proper questions?
Yeah.
How do we know you're not purposely omitting certain things to discuss with him because you are worried about his reputation and not embarrassing him? And they were able to escape because they would kind of make it kind of this cute thing where the brothers would get together and they'll talk about mom and this or that. But I mean, we're kind of here to tell the news, are we not?
Yeah. At the end of the day, yes, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. And so the fact that CNN allowed that to happen through the entire pandemic, to me, unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. So of course, trust in mainstream media hits all-time low. You guys don't do news no more. Wait. Did you get the breaking news?
What? Wait, what breaking news? Where? What? What is it?
Hold on, I want to make sure this is real. You're saying Cicely Tyson died.
Really? Wait, that didn't come through on my breaking news thing. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, she finally passed away. Oh my God.
Were you waiting for her to die? I don't understand.
No, but I'm saying she's old. She's 96.
Yeah, she's old.
You know, I think her and Betty Crocker is the one.
Betty White.
Betty Crocker. Betty White. My bad.
Wait. First of all, you need to use that as a clip against yourself, okay? Because you always out here trying to come for me and the things I do and say, and you need to put that in there.
I will. I'm just saying. And so, you know, Betty White is, you know, they're very old women, and so people would talk about how like it seems like they've been alive forever. And Cicely Tyson was another one. But damn,
I didn't see. Wait, what is happening? I didn't see this come through on my phone.
Shannon, just check Twitter.
I'm not even following anybody prominent on Twitter where I would know that.
You don't have to. Just believe me. It's on Variety. Everyone's talking about
it. Yeah, I see it now. Yeah. Wow, that's so sad. Rip to her. I mean, she's old, so I mean.
Wow, Shannon.
No, but I mean, like,
wow.
Rip to her. It's sad. Stop.
I know. Don't make me. I forgot where I was at, but yeah, rest in peace to
rest in peace,
Cicely Tyson. Maybe we'll touch on it later on the show. But back to what I was talking about. So no wonder people don't trust the mainstream media. Nothing you do is trustworthy. Nothing you do is trustworthy, right? Now, the unfortunate part is everyone thinks that the other's news source is corrupt. That's the funny part. So if you're a lefty or a Democrat and you watch MSNBC, you think Fox News is spreading misinformation. If you're a conservative, you think MSNBC is spreading misinformation. If you're either one, you all hate CNN, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, that continues and continues. But I want to read some of these numbers because they are damning. They are damning. And just in this article, there's a line in here that I want to read. It says, why it matters. Faith in society's central institutions, especially in government and the media, is the glue that holds society together. That glue was visibly dissolving a decade ago and has now, for many million of Americans, disappeared entirely. So let me read you these numbers. 56% of Americans agree with the statement that, quote, journalists and reporters are purposely trying to mislead people by saying things they know are false or gross exaggerations, end quote. Agree or disagree?
Listen, I don't agree fully, but I do agree to an extent, but not fully. Again, I worked in news for a long time, so I can't really say
Shannon's biased. Shannon is responsible. Matter of fact, Shannon.
No, I'm not. I'm not responsible.
Enemy number one.
I didn't produce news content. I literally just made sure that it looked good on TV. I was a director. I was a technical director.
What did you do specifically?
Not a news producer.
No. What did you do specifically?
I was a technical director. I made sure the shots looked good on TV. I was like doing the, ready camera one, take camera two, roll video. That's what I was doing.
So you were part of the lie.
No, I was not, because I don't have any influence over the content. I have no input for the content. I was not a producer. That's what producers do.
Let me ask you a question. If someone, so World War II is over, right? Mm-hmm. We're rounding up the Nazis, right? And there's a guy that we find, and now he wasn't a Nazi soldier. he would just make clothes for Nazis.
Okay.
What do you think we should do with him?
No, what do you mean?
I'm asking you. What he wasn't responsible, but he made the clothes.
I feel like this is not the same situation.
What do you mean?
That's not the same.
If you get involved in a despicable industry, like helping the mainstream media look nice on camera.
Okay, but can I just say something? I worked for Verizon Files One News, which is an equivalent to News 12 for anyone that has Cablevision and or Verizon.
Oh yeah, you fine.
So I don't even think that counts. Exactly.
I know that. My bad.
Thank
you. Yeah, like those are not political news stations.
I know. Yes, they're not. That's why I said it's not me. But that's why
I'm sorry.
I'm biased in the media because a lot of people that I knew from there, were just passionate truth tellers. Totally. Or wanted. That's what they wanted to be.
All right. Okay. Miss 1984. All right. 58% think that, quote, most news organizations are more concerned with supporting an ideology or political position than with informing the public, end quote. I agree with that statement 100%.
I agree.
When Edelman repolled Americans after the election, the figures had deteriorated even further. So those numbers earlier were before the election. Mm-hmm. After the election, 57% of Democrats. So the numbers deteriorated even further, with 57% of Democrats trusting the media and only 18% of Republicans. Now, this is a big problem because that is a big gap between the two parties. Mm-hmm. Now it's still ain't a great thing that only 57% of Democrats trust the media, but the fact that only 18% of Republicans do is a big issue. Some of that is valid. Some of that is, Republicans, I think, being a little bit too cult-like. Now, let me explain. The mainstream media has a left-wing bias. Mm-hmm. It does. That's not debatable to me. It has a left-wing bias. Now, it's not liberal because they can't stand Bernie Sanders and those people as well. But it is definitely a pro left wing. It comes from a left wing space. Mm-hmm. So if you're a Republican, I don't think it's that difficult to read that all of this stuff is coming from a left wing space. Just go ahead and read and think about all of the coverage that happened during Joe Biden's inauguration. You could tell that these were not objective journalists reporting on what happened or sitting behind a desk on CNN or MSNBC. You could clearly tell that they were happy that Joe Biden was in office, that they thought this was a victory for us, even though as journalists, their job is to be objective and discuss events. Yep. Right. And so to that degree, I agree with Republicans that yes, you shouldn't trust mainstream media because it's biased. On the other hand, the fact that you had conservatives leave Fox News and go to Newsmax and what's the other one? OAN?
I don't know what the other one is.
Whatever it's called. Because they didn't like that Fox News had declared the race for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That does ring a bell that there is a cult-like faction of Republicans where, what Trump said was bond. And, the fact that Trump says he didn't lose must means he didn't lose, and everybody in the media is lying. And that is that is something that's worth keeping an eye on and worrying about in the future, because to have that big of a section of Americans, it's still a minority, but it's what you call like a large minority. Mm-hmm. To have like 20 to 30% of Americans who, regardless of who lays out the facts, are not going to believe them unless one guy tells them to, that's a little bit scary. I think you kind of said that, in our earlier podcast. And so they laid out some strategies to increasing the faith that Americans have in the media. And even these make me feel uncomfortable. I want to tell you about them.
Okay.
Reversing the decline is a monster task regarding the trust in the media, and one that some journalists and news organizations have taken upon themselves. They're going to need help, perhaps from America's CEOs. Full stop. Full stop. Number one, once again, journalists, you don't have to try to get people to trust the media. Just do your job.
Yeah, just do your job. Just report unbiasedly.
All you have to do, just do your job.
Yeah.
If you're a writer, literally just write, right? For the next 6 months, just focus on writing, right?
Yep.
Try to have your articles be 80% fact, 20% your opinion. And draw your line clearly between the facts and your opinion. That's all you have to do. You don't have to try to do anything other than that. In fact, I wouldn't want you to try to do anything other than that. I think part of the reason we're here where we are is because many people tried to speak truth to power to Trump. And so they kind of turn themselves into these little caricatures. And now that, Joe Biden's in there, they don't know what it feels like to be an objective journalist anymore. And the second part, turn to CEOs.
Yeah, no, that's actually the problem.
Well,
that's this country's problem, actually. I don't understand.
If your advice to me turn to CEOs for the truth, you don't lost your mind. I have no idea what, as far as, who is the backer behind Axios. But that was a terrible suggestion.
Yes, it was.
Terrible suggestion. The catch? Mistrust of media is now a central part of many Americans' personal identity, an article of faith that they weren't argued into and can't be figured out. And no, it can't be argued out. I agree. It has become like a personal identification of some sorts. See, once again, what they're saying. Washington Post said, media columnist Maria Sullivan writes that quote, our goal should go beyond merely putting truthful information in front of the public. We should also do our best to make sure it's widely accepted. Why? Once again, she doesn't see the problem with what she said. She said our goal should go beyond merely putting truthful information in front of the public. Period.
No, that's
your job.
Yeah, that should be the only goal, and no other goal should exist.
Yes, but they can't help themselves, Shannon. They can't. She had to add, we should also do our best to make sure it's widely accepted. That second part is what's leading to the deplatforming on social media, kicking people off, trying to get podcasts suspended from the Apple Store or the Google Podcast Store or various places, because the only way you can make sure that in your opinion, the truth is widely accepted is to eradicate what you believe to be the misinformation.
Yep.
No, I totally disagree with the Washington Post. And this is wild. CEOs, aka the fourth branch of government, are at or near the top of Edelman's list of trusted institutions. That's sad. By the numbers, 61% of Trump's voters say they trust their employer's CEO. That compares to just 28% who trust government leaders and a mere 21% who trust journalists. That's sad. 61% of Trump supporters say they trust their employer's CEO. Most of you don't even know who he is. How? How? This is bad, man. This is bad.
That's so weird.
It's beyond weird.
Well, I
can't even imagine.
CEO. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, but that's just me. But that's because I know who my CEO is. Anyway.
No, what did you just say?
No. I said I trust my company's CEO, but that's because I know who she is.
Why? Why?
Because I know her. Unlike some people that don't even know who their CEOs are.
Do you really know her?
I know her enough to say that I trust her.
Well, look, I'm gonna throw Shannon in that 61% of Trump voters.
No, do not call me a Trump voter. I'm just saying that I trust my CEO.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say that I trust my CEO more than I trust. What was it? I'm just saying in general.
They trust.
General statement.
I guess. To me, I don't understand how you your CEO is your employer.
Yeah.
I don't understand how anything pertaining to them should be even considered in any personal decision that you make. Any
no.
personal,
I'm not saying
political.
no. I didn't say that it pertains to any of my personal decisions. I was just saying that I trust my employer. That was it, though. But I'm not saying that's it. I didn't say that it had any influence in decisions I make. So it doesn't.
All right, Shannon. I think you're trying to clean up your image, but I'm gonna let you
No,
slide.
I'm not. I never said that. I just said that I trusted my employer. I didn't say anything else.
The title of this episode is gonna be called 61% of Shannon's.
No. Do not call me a Trump supporter. Thank you.
I'm just saying. The mainstream media has a problem with trust. That they do. But to me, the answer is not forcing people to accept the truth by kicking people off platforms and whatnot. It is not by getting CEOs to force their employees to trust whatever version of the truth they want them to accept. No, this is easy. Journalists, do your job the right way. Actually do your job. Report on some shit, honestly. Do some research. I should not be the only one that knows for a fact that police are not hunting black men. They're not hunting black men. Do black men get shot? Yes. But if I ask most people, how many unarmed African Americans do you think got shot last year? Most people will probably say over 100. Don't you agree? It's nowhere near 100. Nowhere near 100. It's nowhere near 50, I don't think. One year it was 13. Do your job. Just do your job. Nothing else. Just do your job. And look, it's getting frustrating for me personally because I have to deprogram these people.
What people are you deprogramming?
Friends, family. It's hard.
Oh, okay.
All I do is watch that junk all day long. It's Don Lemon.
The media is
Don Lemon.
Number one enemy.
No, it's a tie. It's a big tech and mainstream media. Yes.
Yeah.
But they have to do better. They have to do better. And from this article, it doesn't appear to me like they are ready to actually have a self-reflective moment and say, hey, if everyone hates us or doesn't believe what we're saying, I mean, aren't we the only common denominator? Mm-hmm. If conservatives don't trust Fox, if Democrats don't trust MSNBC, if centrists don't trust CNN, I mean, isn't the common denominator is, hey, maybe the media should try to look into themselves and decide, yo, maybe I should start being honest with my my viewers or my listeners. Maybe that would help.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we have around 8 minutes left, and so this is perfect. Really? Yeah, it's 52-minute mark, and so I think this is perfect for us to segue into the unfortunate passing of Cicely Tyson. She was 96 years old. Mm-hmm. Paved the way for many black actors and actresses in Hollywood.
Now I'm just getting the news notification. It was late, but I'm getting it now. Yes.
She's been in many of my favorite shows / movies. She was,
she was in The Help.
Yes.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
How to Get Away with Murder.
I do not care for Tyler Perry movies, but yes, she was in Friday. Huh?
Go ahead.
What? What'd you say? Yes, How to Get Away with Murder. Mm-hmm. Cherish the Day, which I don't know what that is. Fall from Grace. Showing Roots, which was a Lifetime show. House of Cards. Didn't watch that show, but a lot of other stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was in a bunch of movies and TV shows. A great actress, mm-hmm. Like I said, a pioneer. To be 96, I'm sure she was kind of like a mother or like a grandmother figure to many black women in the industry. Yeah, what she like we said earlier, she made it to 96. That's a full life in my opinion. Long life. That is a full life. Actually, it is. Yes, that's a long life to live for anybody, mm-hmm. And she was able to live it. I don't know. We don't know so far what the cause of death was. I don't really think it matters that much. You just hope that she wasn't in pain before she passed away. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is kind of the way things go. It's a circle of life.
Yep.
Now, it definitely gets weird when people that you or celebrities that you not no, but celebrities that you view through an untouchable lens die. It's always
Yeah.
a weird feeling. I remember feeling the same way when I got the text that Michael Jackson passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how? He's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't think of this. You don't think of them as human beings. You
A
think
lot
of
of people
them.
felt that way about Kobe Bryant too. So yeah.
Yeah, and his was tragic because his was a legit tragic accident.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Mike was dying slowly. He was on those drugs. He was isolated from people, and so it was a shock. But really, once you know about how he lived, his last couple of days, maybe even years, it shouldn't be that shocking. Even Prince, Prince when he passed was shocking for me. But when you look into it, he was using drugs and things of that nature.
But then you have like Kobe was a tragic accident. Then you have Chadwick Boseman, who like no one knew he was sick. So like that was
no one knew. Yeah.
Everyone. Yeah. Stuff like that.
So. Yeah. And so, we want to say rest in peace to Cicely Tyson. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her family and all of her friends and the many who knew her. That's kind of what we'll have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did good work today, people. We did good work. I think we slid past the stock stuff pretty well. We did that pretty well. So thank you once again. Make sure you follow, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify. We also in the Stitcher app as well. Make sure you go ahead and take care of that. And Google Podcasts.
We're on there. That one.
I know. I'm sorry. I never use that. That's why. Google Podcasts. We are there as well. And Shannon, anything you want to plug?
No, not really.
Me neither.
If you're a nerd, you can listen to the Blurs and Nerds podcast.
That's
Tuesdays.
Right. Check out the Blurs and Nerds podcast on Tuesdays, and we will be seeing you guys. Black History Month. I have no idea what we're going to be doing. I have a feeling Black History quiz. I think Shannon probably only knows like 5 black people.
That's not true, but continue on.
Who created peanut butter?
What's his face? I forgot. I know this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Fail.
I know who it is.
Okay, look at that.
I hate you so much.
So we'll see. We'll have black trivia in Black History Month. Who knows? But thank you guys for listening, watching, and we will see you guys next time. Deuces.
Bye. Oop, I said that late.